But let's start with this. 1 hour from now, New York Attorney General Letitia James is set to make her first court appearance in Norfolk, Virginia. The top law enforcement officer in New York State is charged with mortgage fraud. Now, she calls the indictment political retaliation, while President Trump has publicly called for her prosecution. Lawmakers from New York rallied in support of James last night.
Letitia James is a dirty cop. You go after these people and they say how horrible you are, and yet I got indicted 5 times and impeached twice. Nobody says anything about that.
He came to our city, and Tish James brought him to justice, and now he is destroying our system of justice to take her down.
CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman is here with more on Letitia James's case. Hey there, Katrina. So James has actually requested that the prosecution not speak to the media outside the courtroom. How unusual is that, and why is she making that request?
Errol, this was prompted by a very unusual exchange that happened between U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan, who brought this case, and then a reporter, that's Anna Bauer from Lawfare. And what happened was a couple days after this indictment was brought, Errol, Halligan reached out unprompted on Signal to Anna Bauer to tell her that her reporting, she said, quote, "You're biased, your reporting is inaccurate." Bauer had reposted a New York Times article on X, and she had made a comment about something that was said in that article. She said it was potential exculpatory evidence for Letitia James. So Halligan kept going back and forth with her on Signal, saying she wasn't correct, but when asked, she wouldn't actually tell Bauer what was wrong. When Bauer ultimately went and sort of fact-checked the story, and Halligan, I think, realized that it was coming out, she tried to write her later, Errol, said this was all off the record. It was too late. But what Letitia James's team is saying is that this was inappropriate. It potentially violated the federal rules of criminal procedure, possibly professional and ethics rules and other rules as well, that a person who brought this case should not be reaching out to the media, commenting on the evidence, commenting on grand jury proceedings, and this could violate the right to a fair and impartial trial, Errol, and also the secrecy of the grand jury, which they say are sacred principles. So they want certain strictures brought here so that the prosecutors cannot be talking to the media, and that if they do, they want a log of those interactions.
And when we discussed this issue this morning, it was noted that Halligan has no experience bringing these types of cases, and some career prosecutors refuse to sign on to this. So what do we expect to see unfold here in the next hour or so?
Well, this is the arraignment, so we're expecting Letitia James to make her plea of not guilty, Errol. They're also likely to talk about this element where she wants this essential gag put on the prosecutors talking to the media. Letitia James has also filed a notice that she plans to make a filing that Lindsay Halligan has been unlawfully appointed to even bring this case. They haven't yet made their full arguments in this, but they did note that this challenge is very similar to one that's being brought by James Comey, and they actually think that these should be consolidated, because the issue also becomes here, Errol, if it's ultimately found that Lindsay Halligan was unlawfully appointed, then were either of these prosecutions even lawfully brought in the first place?
Wow, and we know that Letitia James has a lot of experience bringing cases, winning cases, so she'll certainly be aware of every maneuver available. Katrina Kaufman, thank you very much.